Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my May wrap up, and I know it's a little bit late. I know it's like the 13th or the 14th today, but we're just gonna swing right along that. We're not even gonna talk about that. We're mid-month already and we're still talking about last month. But so for last month I read a total of 5 books. 2 of them were pretty short. I have young adult, I have adult, I have middle grade. I mean, I have a little bit of everything here. I must say, during the end of May and beginning of June now, I was in such a reading slump. So much so that we are on the 13th and I've only read 1 book this month. But it was the right book to get me right back into it, and I'm back into reading. So anywho, let's get into the books that I read in the month of May. So like I said earlier, there was kind of a variety, a kind of a diverse reading selection for the month. I have horror, I have fantasy, a little bit more fantasy, and some more fantasy. So in no particular order, first book that I'm going to talk about is Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Now I am so late on this train. So I've had this on my shelves for quite a while already, and I don't know, I was hesitating to read it for whatever reason. I ended up giving this 5 stars. When people say that this is amazing, believe them, because what an amazing ride it was. The storyline, I loved everything about it. I was actually in the middle of reading like 3 books when I decided to pick this up, because I think it's just being overwhelmed with the amount of books that I have. I want to read everything. So, and I'm the type of person that I have to read like 1 book at a time. I can't read multiple books because I just lose interest for whatever reason. So I was in the middle of 3 books and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to pick this up because I just felt like it. And I was so glad that I did. Such a fantastic book. I'm hoping to get into the 2nd book this month. But yeah, there's not much that you can say about this without spoiling it. So just know that if you have not read this, please, please, please pick this one up. It doesn't take long to read. It is kind of a hefty book, but even at that, this book is like readable in like days, like in no time. It's just that good, that gripping. It's action packed. There's gore in it at the same time, which I was not expecting. I was not expecting that the quote unquote, I'm gonna say the horror element, but that little gory element from it, I just loved it. So please, if you haven't, pick it up. 5 stars. If you want to see reviews, I don't like write in-depth reviews on Goodreads, but if you want to know what my reviews are and what I wrote about it, I'll leave my I'll link my Goodreads link down below. Wow, that was tough to get out. Another book that I read for the month of May was Afternoon of the Elves. It's such a cute book. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So cute. Now this book, I ended up giving 3 stars. I loved it. It's been a while since I read this. I think I read this at the beginning of May, so it's kind of hard to go back and it's hard to go back and really remember, but all I can remember from this is that I was expecting a very cute book. I mean, the cover to it is just so cute and endearing, but it has such a dark side to it. It leaves you wondering, it leaves you sad. I remember feeling very sad reading this. The friendship that builds in the book is so amazing and genuine, but weird at the same time. It's a very short book. I mean, you can finish this probably in a few hours. It did win the Newbery Honor book. It has that little thing right here. This is another one that I've had on my shelves forever, and I even hauled it here on the channel in one of my first couple videos of book outlet haul. If you haven't read it, pick it up. It's kind of strange. It dives into like social behavior. And like I said, it just left me kind of like gloomy at the end, but not in a bad way, if that even makes sense. But I gave it, actually, sorry, I gave it a 3.5. There was just some things that weren't about it, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it for what it was, you know. And like I said, I didn't expect such, it was like, for being a middle grade book, it had really, really deep, heavy, it was a very deep and heavy subject as it talked about, or as it dived into social behavior and how people react and gossip and things like that. For such a middle grade book, it was just so weird, and such a cute cover. Never judge a book by its cover, but I mean, I don't go by that, because I judge everything by its cover. Next book I read for the month of May was Summer of Night, and I do have a full review of this. I will throw it up on the cards. I don't know if it's here or wherever it is. But I ended up giving this 3 stars. I was kind of like hesitant giving it 3 stars and saying that I liked it so much, but it was a pacing issue for me with this book, and how just like slow it was. And I just never felt like, I didn't find the horror element of this very horror-ish, if that's even a word. But either way, I will leave my review up above so that you guys can check it out, and I won't dive too much into it. But the cover for this is amazing. Moving on to the next book, I read To Kill a Kingdom. I rated this book, I gave this book 3 stars. There was a lot of 3 stars, a lot of 3 stars this month. What can I say about this book? It's almost like a Little Mermaid retelling, just a little darker than a Little Mermaid retelling. You know, you have like true siren elements in this, which just makes the book dark and almost gruesome. What else can I say about this book? I really didn't write a review on this book on my Goodreads. I just really rated it. It's just one of those books that you read and you're like, okay, all right, next. You know, the dark elements and the like siren elements of it were really good. But you know, it's just another story. It wasn't anything, you know, fantastic. It was enjoyable. It was, I wouldn't say so much as intriguing, but it did its job of entertaining me for a while. The cover though is amazing. I did love the name. Her name is just, I love her name, Lyra. So beautiful. And the sceneries were really nice when reading the book. So yeah, 3 stars. And the last and final book that I did read for the month of May is a Josh Malerman book. It's A House at the Bottom of the Lake. I've been wanting to read this forever and ever and ever. It's a very short little book. Yeah, I've been wanting to read this for so long. It's such a short little book. I don't even know if this is considered a novella. I don't even know what a novella is, but every time I see people talk about like really short stories like this, that's what they call it. But this is a fantasy mixed with a little bit of horror. I wouldn't say there's too much horror in it. There was a couple of scenes, let's call it, that were a little bit, you know, gripping. Now, you know what? This left me a little bit claustrophobic because this follows 2 teens. I think they're like about 60. Yeah, they're 17 years old. And he asked her out on a date and they decide to go canoeing. To go on a canoe on this lake where one of his family members live, and there's like the main lake, and then there's like another lake off the main lake, and then they discover this other lake where their adventures start. And I do want to say that as the book started and as they started their adventure, it was cute, it was nice, but when it really got to the part where they discover the house, it's not a spoiler. It's the book. But when they discover the house and they decide to go on the adventure, it is claustrophobic. Like, I felt like I couldn't breathe at times. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, turn around or go back, or please don't stay there too long, you know, don't drown, don't. It was that kind of intensity with the book. There was a couple, like I said before, a couple of horror elements when it comes to when it was them down there in the house, and I really enjoyed it. Needless to say, I gave this book 5 stars for being such a little book. It punched a lot. The ending, I was sort of like, what? But nevertheless, an amazing little read. You know, if you're into fantasy, into horror and stuff, it's just one of these books that just don't make sense, but they do at the same time, even though the ending really didn't close it for me. But either way, I loved it. If I were to go on a first date like this, I'm a chicken shit. I probably wouldn't have gone on the adventures that they went on. But I thought it was fantastic. The story, the plot line. If you like horror, if you like kind of like fantastical things, I would recommend this book. And I love Mallerman's writing. I know maybe a lot of people, but I do. I love his writing. I love how there's sentences that are to the point, that make you feel, that are, you know, just like Bird Box. It was just like this and this and this, and you were like, it was like intense. That's how. Can you not? Can you not? Can you see him? Look over here. Look over here. Look over here. They can't see you because you're too little. You're too little and they can't see you. They can't see you. Hey. Okay, get down. Get down, my little woolly. Sorry about that. But my babies are in here with me today because my daughter's not home and she normally takes them into her room. But she's not here and I have to make do. It sounds like I have a gremlin in the house. Hey, enough. So yeah, I love his writing. I am reading another one of his books this month. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with that one, but we'll leave that for next month. So that was it, guys. That's everything that I read for the month of May. If you guys want to let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have read any of these books, what you think about them, and also just whatever you read for the month of May, let me know. And if you suggest I pick anything up, I am on a no buy and I'm doing good so far. Well, I've bought 1 book so far. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that when that video comes. We'll talk about that when that video comes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.